Are you an investing podcaster? If you are, I've got great news for you. I'll be sharing with you the law of success for investing podcasters this year. Let me first give you an overview here. When you think about investing, you have to think about personal finance, but also, let's just say finance in general, okay? But the cool thing is that you have to understand that you have about 100 to 200 million listeners in the US only who are interested in actually getting ahead in their financial life when it comes to investing, when it comes to the stock market, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to everything finance related in general. Okay, think about the rise of channels such as CNBC, Bloomberg TV, let's say CNN Money, or even Fox Business Channel. Those are great channels. They really are bringing, they're adding value to Americans big time. Not just Americans. I mean, folks worldwide. Okay. So the thing is, what I'm trying to say here is that there is potential for listeners out there. But when you think about your investing and finance podcast, you have to really pay attention to what you're looking for. Number one, you have to think about the right focus for your podcast. What happens here is that when it comes to investing and finance in general, you have a variety of niches. The whole idea here is to actually resonate with your audience, to add value, to bring to the market things that they will find interesting, to bring to the market content and information that your audience will find captivating. Okay, so that's very important. Of course, you can do B2B, you can do B2C, you can also do a C2C, you can do anything in between. Everything starts with you knowing your audience pretty well, and thinking about what can add value to their lives. Do they want to grow their portfolio? Are they looking for income stability? Are they looking for retirement planning? What kind of investing and finance topics are they interested in? Okay, you also want to keep financial topics fresh. You want to cover timely issues. You want to invite new perspectives. For instance, it's all about adding value, and you want to take calls from the audience. Okay, if you take calls from the audience, you are really creating an immersive environment, and the audience, your audience, will actually reward you for this sort of strategy. So, if you think about the law of success as an investment or let's say finance podcaster, you have to really go a little further in terms of creating the chemistry that you need to have between your audience and your show. In other words, you want to get attention from your audience, but also grow your audience. Okay. So even the best finance podcast won't provide benefits if people don't listen, right? Folks have to listen. Folks have to tune in. Folks have to actually hear the call to action that you have in the podcast. So growing a following on iTunes is critical. So I mean, around 70% of podcast listening happens on Apple, okay, on this platform. So although it can be challenging to gain traction, there are a few ways to jumpstart your, let's say, a podcast and find interested listeners, especially if you are niching down a lot in your finance slash investing sort of category, because investing slash finance is a big and very large topic. So you have to be granular. So the more thorough you are, the more niche down you are, the better it is for you. Okay. And when it comes to when it comes to growing your audience, you want to lean heavily into social media. But I'm not speaking about any type of social media. The social media has to make sense to your audience. The social media has to resonate with your audience. It's basically where your audience hangs out at. If your audience hangs out on Twitter, now called X, go establish your presence on that platform. If your audience hangs out on Instagram, go on that platform and really come to the market with Instagram Reels. If your audience loves Facebook, you want to have Facebook Reels. If your audience is a YouTube is actually made up of YouTube aficionados, you want to establish a presence with YouTube Shorts, but also bring your long form content to YouTube, to regular YouTube. You also want to lean into guest social media too. Okay, whenever you invite somebody to your investing podcast, you want to really see if you can really get some knowledge or some potential. You can extract some value from their own audience too. And also, you want to say yes to interviews on other investing or finance podcasts. It's all about give and take. It's all about establishing this mutually beneficial relationship with other investment slash finance podcasts. That way, you are able to know exactly what works, what doesn't work, what your potential audiences might like from either or. So let me give you a few hacks here. If you think about the law of success for investing and finance podcasters, you always want to make sure that your finance podcast is accessible. This is the quintessential law of success for investing slash finance podcasting. Okay. Podcasts are primarily an audio medium, but that format doesn't work for everyone because you have to understand that not all listeners are listening. Some listeners want to read. Some listeners want to see stuff, right? So you got to choose the right format for the audience, especially if you have an international audience. That could make the thing even more complicated. Why? Because some areas in this globe don't have I would say decent internet connection. And if you don't have decent connection, you can't really watch videos. Maybe you just want to rate stuff. Okay, you just want to maybe listen to audios, for instance. So what happens here is that if you are trying to really make your podcast accessible, you can offer, for instance, a podcast transcript. Why? Because the transcript accommodates audience members who are deaf and hard of hearing and provides also another format for people who prefer to consume content by reading instead of listening. So professional captioning and transcription services can really offer efficient solutions for financial firms, for financial podcasters, or anybody who is interested in the finance slash investing niche. Okay, so you can have accurate transcripts that improve search engine optimization. So that's really cool. You also want to post finance slash investing podcast videos on YouTube. It's all about making sure that you are expanding the listenership of your podcast. In some cases, posting a video of the podcast may involve footage of the host and speakers talking, allowing the audience to feel more connected. However, even posting a video that includes a backdrop or static images of the audio is actually beneficial, right? It's really cool because you are able to connect, let's say, more closely with the audience. Another law of success for investing slash finance podcasters is to actually think about building a library. You want to have a repository of, let's say, an archive, if you will, of previous investing slash finance podcast, your own podcast, of course, previous episodes. And the cool thing is that posting just one episode can frustrate a new listener, especially if that new listener is really interested in consuming your content. So when starting a new podcast, a new finance slash investing a podcast, it's really wild to build out a small library of episodes before going live. That way, you're pretty clear as to what to do and what not to do. Because the inspiration, you're not going to have it every week, right? So it's just better to actually plan things ahead. So recording and posting 3 episodes at once is actually a better way to get new listeners hooked and inspire them to subscribe to the channel in the first place. Okay. So the popularity of existing finance slash investing podcasts really indicates a strong appetite for content in this field. But by the way, this is a very competitive niche though. But the cool thing is that when done well, a podcast on investing or finance, okay, can really offer valuable insights while entertaining listeners and else also building a loyal customer base. That's what you want, okay? And as you look to develop or enhance your podcast, you can actually turn to, let's say, a lot of platforms, okay, for, let's say, foundational partnerships. You can actually build like your podcast with captioning, with transcription, with audio description, okay? And that's kind of cool because you are able to get things done faster. But one thing I need to say here is that just make sure that the final result is actually what your audience is expecting. Okay, your audience has to find that your final result is pretty great, it's pretty fantastic for them to really continue listening to you. Actually, so when it comes to the law of success for investing and or finance podcasting, remember to understand a few extras here. If you want to actually launch your finance/investing podcast this year, you have to understand that you got to have the right concept and angle. It's not just about the niche. The finance niche is very, very large, it's very broad, but you got to really look at the concept and angle that you want to really focus on. Because, you're not going to really please everybody. You just got to please somebody. If you're trying to please everybody, you are going to end up not pleasing anyone at all, okay? So think about the psychographics of your target audience, their demographics, their professional background, their interest and pain points. When I say demographics, ask yourself, who are they? So the age, the gender, the location, the geography is really important because a 20-year-old in New York is not the same 20 is not the same thing as a 20-year-old in Beijing or a 20-year-old in Nigeria looking for financial advice. Actually, when I speak about professional background, ask yourself what industries they work in, if they are finance professionals, if they are business owners, if they are investors. Think about their interest and pain points. Okay, what specific financial topics are they interested in? What challenges do they face in their financial journeys, right? Because that's how you can bring value to your audience. You also want to choose your unique angle. So, after defining your audience, think about how your podcast can fill a gap in the current market. So, what unique insights can you provide in your finance/investing podcast? Is it about crypto? Is it about regulatory compliance? Whatever. So consider your experiences, your expertise, or think about a distinctive viewpoint on finance that sets you apart. And also, are there underrepresented topics in finance/investing that you can explore? This could include niche areas like sustainable investing, personal finance. Okay, you can have strategies for startups or innovative financial technology, fintech. Okay, and what formats will resonate with your audience more? Think about that also. That can really help you big time. So decide if your podcast will be interview based, storytelling, or focused on panel discussions. Every format can convey your message in different ways, and selecting the right one can enhance listener engagement, especially in the long run. If you're thinking about the law of success for investing and finance podcasters, you also got to think about your gear. For your finance/investing podcast to be successful, your equipment has to be quite essential, okay? Things like microphone, recording software, headphones, audio interface, hosting platforms, among others. Let me break it down a little bit for you. So when I speak about microphone, I mean high quality microphone is crucial for capturing clear audio. So for a finance podcast where clarity and professionalism are key, consider options like the Audio Technica AT2020 or the Shure MV7. I've actually covered this on other shows. These microphones provide excellent sound quality and help minimize background noise, making them ideal for corporate settings, okay, among others. In terms of recording software, the software you choose for recording can significantly affect your podcast production quality. So, free options like GarageBand are user friendly and provide essential editing tools, making them perfect for beginners. So, if you are looking for more advanced features, consider, for instance, Audacity or among others. And so, think about headphones. Think about the Audio Technica ATH M50X. And you want to have headphones that will hear the nuances in your audio without sound leakage, ensuring precise edits and a polished final product. In terms of audio interface, you want to be able to connect your microphone to your computer while converting the analog signal into digital audio, right? So devices like the Focusrite Scarlett Solo are compact and user-friendly, providing high-quality preamps that also enhance your recordings. And what about hosting platform? Well, you have a lot. For hosting platform, you have Alitu, you have Custos, you have Riverside, you have Awushop. You have what you want. You want to have a streamlined distribution and management. You want to have advanced analytics and measurement. That's going to help you big time. Okay. Also, think about seamless integration with your brain because there has to be a chemistry with your brain. Think about enhanced SEO capabilities. And finally, you want to think about whether or not you are looking for custom solutions for enterprises. If your audience is a little bit into B2B, for instance, then you can think about that as well. But that's kind of important. Now, if you want to really maximize your investing finance podcast discoverability, you have to understand that there are podcast listening platforms. Okay, so what you want to do here is that you want to really get to you want to optimize metadata. So ensure your podcast title, episode titles, and descriptions are rich with relevant keywords. This helps your content appear in search results and attract the right audience. I'm speaking here about Spotify. I'm speaking about Apple. I'm speaking about Google. Also, think about having compelling cover art. So, design eye-catching artwork that reflects your podcast theme. High-quality visuals can significantly improve click-through rates. Okay. Think about YouTube also. I mean, on YouTube, you can actually replicate your podcast to fit the YouTube platform. So, as the second largest search engine globally, YouTube offers immense potential for audience engagement. So, in terms of video formats, publishing on YouTube doesn't mean you have to create full video content. Instead, you can transform your audio episodes into audio clips. That's kind of cool too. And for SEO techniques, you can incorporate keywords in video titles, descriptions, and tags to enhance discoverability. Creating a compelling thumbnail can also drive more clicks, actually. You also want to think about social media. So, social media platforms are critical for engaging with your audience and building community. For instance, here you have targeted outreach, so you are able to identify where your listener persona is most active. So, tailor your content strategy to engage these platforms effectively. Also, think about engagement strategies, okay? Create content such as audiograms, polls, and live Q&A sessions. And the cool thing is that these formats promote interaction and sharing among listeners. You can try also word of mouth. Word of mouth can help you big time in terms of having employee ambassadors, shareable assets, okay? And so the bottom line here is that you have to think of this in the long run. It has to be a scalable effort. So as a coda in today's conversation, I spoke to you about the law of success for investing and finance podcasting. I gave you the overview, the hacks, the extras, and now the coda. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.